First live to Sydney, the New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian providing a COVID update.
To come forward and get tested and follow the health advice. But also we need to make sure that we comply with all of the COVID safe plans that businesses have. Can I stress that the New South Wales Government will be really focusing on compliance of businesses in relation to QR codes, social distancing, and making sure they have a COVID safety plan. Our expectation is that businesses will at all times have at least one member of staff who's making sure that everybody is complying with the COVID safety plan, whether it's staff at the venue or whether it's all the patrons. And we don't want to see QR codes hidden at the back of a venue. They need to be front and centre as people walk into that venue to make sure everybody complies, because if there is anybody with the virus in any location, we want to make sure we get on top of it. So can I please stress that compliance will be increased in New South Wales across all venues, across all sectors, to make sure that businesses and patrons are complying with COVID safety plans. We simply cannot let our guard down at this stage, critical stage of dealing with COVID. And as we saw just before Easter, ironically, it wasn't the hotel quarantine system where we had that outbreak, but certainly someone coming in from another state where they hadn't been vaccinated. So it's really important for us to be on our guard and to make sure we stick to all the COVID safety plans. Can I also stress that the New South Wales Government is working hard to distribute all of the vaccines that are supplied to us. And in that vein, I just want to make a few points. Firstly, the New South Wales Government is already in the process of establishing 100 sites across the state to provide that access to the vaccine. So 100 sites, around 80 of them are already up and running. And this is to make sure that everybody in rural and regional New South Wales, as well as other locations outside of Sydney, can get access to the vaccine to complement the GP network. So as we know, the federal government has the responsibility for making sure everybody is vaccinated. The GP network was to be the main source of that, is to be the main source of that. And the New South Wales Government has responsibility for administering 300,000 doses. We've done about 130,000 doses already, and I envisage we'll pass the halfway mark in terms of number of doses by the end of this week. But in addition to those 100 sites, and I want to make it very clear that in addition to those 100 sites, the New South Wales Government will also be setting up a vaccination hub at Homebush. And this is to allow us to support the Commonwealth in distributing the vaccine once we have finished the 300,000 that we said we would do. But I also want to make this point. The hub at Homebush will be in addition to the 100 sites we will already have up and running. So the New South Wales Government, even after we've done the 300,000 we were asked to do, will continue to have 100 sites up and running across the state, in addition to a mass vaccination hub at Homebush. We anticipate that post the 300,000 that we're responsible for, we'll be able to do around 60,000 vaccinations a week. Half of those will be done at Homebush, and the other half will be done across the other 100 sites across the state. That number could go up depending on demand, but we think that we're capable of doing around 60,000 doses a week as a state post the 300,000 that we've been asked to do. And this is to support the GP network and to support the Commonwealth, because given where we are at the vaccine rollout, New South Wales doesn't want to see further delays, and that's why we're stepping up to support the Commonwealth. But can I also make this really critical point? Our ability to do 60,000 vaccinations a week depends on us getting the supply of the vaccine from the Commonwealth. At the end of the day, the Commonwealth is responsible for getting the vaccine to the states. They're responsible for making sure we have those doses to be able to give out. And as you also know, the New South Wales Government is incredibly proud of our record. We actually are providing now daily updates on the doses, on the vaccine rollout, so everybody can access that information on a daily basis in a timely way. I just want to make that very clear. But our ability to complete the 300,000 that we had responsibility for, in addition to doing the 60,000 extra a week, is dependent upon the Commonwealth getting us those doses. That's their responsibility. We want to work with them and support them as one team to make sure that we live in a COVID-safe environment, in a COVID-safe world, and we will continue to work with them to make that possible.